We have on this land that which makes life worth living. We have on this land all of that which makes life worth living. April's hesitation, the aroma of bread at dawn, a woman's beseeching of men, the writings of Aeschylus, love's beginning, moss on a stone, mothers standing on a flute's thread, and the invader's fear of memories. We have on this land that which makes life worth living. September's end, a woman leaving 40 behind, with all of her apricots, the hour of a sunlight in prison, a cloud reflecting a swarm of creatures, a people's applause for those who face their own erasure with a smile, and the tyrant's fear of songs. We have on this land all of that which makes life worth living. On this land, the lady of our land, the mother of all beginnings, and the mother of all ends. She was called Palestine. Her name later became Palestine. My lady, because you are my lady, I have all of that which makes life worth living. Poem by Mahmoud Darwish. On this land. Is it on? Is it on? I don't know if it's on.
I think it's on.
Is it on? Oh yeah, it is plugged in.
What is Palestine?
What is Palestine? Where do we start from there? Palestine, we always consider it as the holy land that starts from the river to the sea. We have the Masjid Al-Aqsa, our proud masjid.
Yes.
And also we have the church, the oldest church. The second, I'm not 100% sure. I think it's the second oldest church in the world. It's called Church Al-Qiyamah. It's the land of the prophets.
Yeah.
Jesus was actually Palestinian as well. So Palestinian people are the most generous people you could ever find back then. I remember my father used to tell me that, back then when he was walking with his grandfather, my great-grandfather, his name is Al-Hussein. He used to tell me that we welcomed strangers so they can eat if they want anything. We always help out with each other. Back then, Palestine did not know the word meaning of racism.
Yeah.
We did not have that. This is your house as well. Like, it's my house. It's like, in the Mexican people, how they say, mi casa, su casa.
Yeah.
Like something like that. So it's literally, but it is the truth though. My father used to tell me that there were so many people we don't know. So they welcome them to eat, to talk, to get to know each other. And if there's any like conflicts happen, like any fights or anything like in Palestine, I remember he told me that his grandfather used to like step up and stop the conflict.
Yeah.
And also want to talk about like the explanation of the Palestinian flag. You have the white, it starts with the white, and it's our deeds.
Yeah.
It shows our deeds. The black is for our battles, for our fights. The green is our fields, the olive fields. We're the most known for the olive oil.
Olive fields, yeah.
We're the vintage, by the way.
Yeah, you are.
We're the originators. And the red is how much we bled for this country and how much we fought for it.
Yeah.
And with our swords and how we protected and we made sure the traditions doesn't go away. Until this day, the tradition lives on.
I mean, as an Arab, I can't really say much about Palestine, but express how much I love it. I read so much about its history and about how the Palestinians fought for this land.
Definitely.
And if I want to define love, I would simply say it's what the Palestinians are doing in Palestine now.
Exactly. Going back with the like, I don't know you, but you're welcome in my house.
Absolutely.
You can, if you need any help, I can help you out with it.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because it shows like how even in Islam they always teach us like to always like help around.
Be generous.
Being generous. Don't always look at it in the point of view of who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. It's what you are. And what's the most important part in saying what you are? You are a human being.
Absolutely.
And that's what defines us in Islam as well.
Yeah. It's crazy how this conflict just started out of nowhere. Definitely, immediately, as you said, Muhammad, you welcome people.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, you get stabbed in the back. How did this conflict start in the first place?
So the conflict started in 1946. So because of the Israeli people, they were walking all the way from Europe
Yeah.
so they can find a place. And when they reached Palestine, Palestinian people did not turn them back.
Yeah.
They welcomed them with open hands, with a warm welcome. They did not say, no, get out of our land.
Yeah.
And to see this, they stab us in the back, like it hurts a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
But sometimes, maybe some people say, like, do you think you regret that you always welcome strangers? Definitely not. Because as a Palestinian, it's literally in our blood, in our definition. And I'll keep saying it. Whoever you are, you're most welcome.
It basically started as the Nakba, right?
Yeah.
So in May 15, 1948, is known worldwide as the day the state of Israel was created. But that date is commemorated by the Palestinians as the beginning of the Nakba, or we can say the catastrophe, the beginning of the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians from their homeland. I've heard many people talk about this conflict, which I really hate the word conflict because I feel like it's more than a conflict. Is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict a fair and an accurate way of framing this issue? If this is not a conflict, then what is it?
Okay, so when you talk about conflict, you're talking about in the same equal as what the other two people do.
Absolutely.
Quick question, Yasmine. If you have a rock
Yeah.
and I have a gun and there's a third person, if you were this third person, which one do you feel it's fair?
The gun? Absolutely, because you're more powerful.
It's more powerful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the person who holding a stone or a pebble is not stopping though. So this is definitely not a conflict. How is that a conflict if it's not fair? This is genocide. This is a mass genocide. We're talking about children being killed. This is not self-defense.
Absolutely.
Because self-defense meaning that you have all you need and you can protect yourself because you have the right to self-defense. And calling them bad words and saying that, oh no, they're just being monsters. What do you mean by being monsters?
Yeah.
They just want to take back their lands. It's their original lands that the occupiers came in and they said, oh, now it's ours.
Yeah.
How is that? Is there a paper? I'm sorry. Do you have any proof? Do you have anything that says this land is called Israel even in the beginning? No.
Yeah.
No. Any land that starts with no name. And then this is where this starts. But telling me that there's already a land and telling me right now, oh, this is my land now and I'm taking it because I just want to feel like it. No, this is not an excuse. Thinking about it even back then, even if Israel's like they fought and if they thought about it and if they felt bad, Yasmine, maybe would have said, we're going to give you another chance. But no.
Yeah.
It's been 70 years through this massacre till this day. And every year it gets worse than before. And how do you think we're going to forgive any of this? This is either just leave our lands or face what's coming to you.
Absolutely. You can't really sympathize with what's happening to them, especially because
Definitely.
you've hurt a lot of people.
Definitely.
You've killed children. You've
Yes.
did the worst things possible.
Yeah.
And for you to sit here and say, but this is my right. This is my land. It absolutely makes no sense.
Exactly.
Also go back to the idea of how they're brainwashed to think that they're the
They
victims.
brainwashed the children in Israel. Do you know that?
Absolutely,
In
yeah.
schools.
And to see like a whole army murder kids, especially kids.
Yeah.
Seen it like throughout the years of kids throwing stones at the armies, but at the same time they're there just to murder them with their guns.
Yasmine, when I was a kid, like when my parents told me about Palestine and there's a war happening, and not conflict, the genocide happens. When I was a kid, I always thought about that. Oh man, I feel bad for the children.
Yeah.
The children, they're the one who losing their parents. Right now, when I'm looking at the adults, the fathers, the mothers, they're losing their children now. You never thought about that because, when I was a kid, read stories or anything that it says like, oh, when a child loses a parent and he grows up with a trauma for revenge or just in anger.
Yeah.
But no, this one is the opposite. This one right now is the adult who's losing a child.
Mohammad, another thing that kind of angers me is when we hear the politicians especially talk about what's happening in Palestine, and we usually say, but hey, what about the kids? And their response is, well, of course, it's a war. Like, a lot of people are going to die. and it's normal to happen. And when I hear somebody say those things, the first thing that comes to my mind is, are you even a human being?
Exactly.
Where's the humanity
Exactly.
that we advocate for? Where's the humanity that we were born with?
Prophet Muhammad والسلام, in his own hadith,
Yeah.
he said, in the time of wars, you never hurt an older person, never hurt a woman, a child, a tree.
Yeah.
You know, and even a sick person, if I'm not mistaken. If there's a person who is in ill and he no condition to fight, you don't kill him.
Absolutely. Because it has to be a fair fight.
Yeah.
And that just shows you how Islam told us to fight.
Exactly.
And that reminded me of a conversation that happened. It was a debate actually in 1973 between the African American activist Kawami and the Zionist.
Okay.
He said, the Zionists must be eradicated wherever they are. The tactic of Zionism goes like this. Every time we say anything, they bring out Hitler and how the Jews were enslaved, right?
Yeah.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah.
If Hitler killed as many Jews as he did, then what the Jews should do is take Germany. Why are they going to Palestine? The Arabs did nothing to you. Which is so ironic because this is absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
Right? If you think about it,
Definitely.
whatever you went through in your own histories, you can't just come to another country, to a Muslim country, and say, well, this is what my religion told me to do, or this is what my history told me to do.
Because they're mistaken. They don't even know about their own history.
Absolutely.
Or anything. And also the fact that they're doing the same thing as Hitler doing, it's like is a cycle going back again.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's like it's saying like whatever happened to you, you should do it the same thing. But it's like no,
like you lived through all this pain. You know the pain of losing your kids, your families, your house, your land.
Exactly.
Right? So for you to go to another land and do the same thing, that makes absolutely no sense.
Definitely, yeah.
It's so ironic. So Muhammad, what do you think about basically, like, there are lots of people who say, okay, but that's been like what, 70 years? Like, can we just get over it? Let's just create two states. Why not just, split Palestine in half and just give the land from, to Israelis, and the Palestinians have their own land, the rest of their land. What do you think about that?
So going back about the whole thing, when I told you that we could have forgiven them, like the start of the fight in 1948.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, oh, definitely we were going to forgive them and give. No, we would be thinking about it. We'd be strategized for like, okay, you know what? If the Israelis like stop doing all of that, we could have been giving them a small part so they can live. Again, we're Palestinians. We always welcome other people. We even welcome them, the Israelis people.
Yeah.
Yasmine, how long has it been this war going on?
Centuries, man.
So right now you're telling me right now, the children, even the unborn child.
Yeah.
In the womb of a woman wasn't born. You want to convince me right now we're going to split? Oh, let's be friends. Friendship? No, definitely not. This is genocide. This is the worst. How could we forgive someone like that?
So Muhammad, would you say that the anti-Zionism or criticism of Israeli policies can be anti-Semitic?
No. Okay, hold on. Because Jewish people and Israeli people, they're totally a different thing. How can you explain that in, for example, in the US? Or you know what? Let's talk about other countries.
Yeah.
That they protesters. They're actually Jewish people.
Yeah.
So if they're actually Israelis, then why they're standing in with Palestine? Why can't they stand with people? So it doesn't really explain the anti-Zionism with the anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
Like because they're two different things.
Absolutely.
We can't just say, oh, like because Jewish people, so they're Israelis. No. Okay, at first, maybe we thought about that when we were kids. But when we understood more, it's two different things.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about Jewish people, we're talking about their own religion. Well, it's, for example, when you say Christian people or when you talk about Muslim people. But I have a question, though. Does Muslim people, do they have to always be Arabs?
No.
Christian people, do they always have to be other than Arabs?
No.
Exactly. Because when you speak about Israel, we're talking about the people itself, not religion, not anything, because it's not a religion. So definitely not.
Okay, so let me talk real quick about this. Israel, would you consider it as peacemaker or a narcissistic psychopath, just like Bassem Youssef said?
No, none of them. I would consider them as a Homelander and not Superman.
Okay.
I'm just joking. It's definitely the answer of a psychopath, narcissistic psycho, like, what is going on here? Like, do you call that being a human rights, defend themselves?
Well, that's what they say, right?
So, okay, yeah, this is definitely, yeah, a narcissistic psychopath people.
Exactly.
But definitely, I mean, again, back to the whole idea of being a human being, and like, again, like talking about like how in times of war, like how can you fight? How can you do what is right and what is wrong? You know, like you don't call that a human right. It's just to self-defense.
I would say they talk about peace so much, right? But it's just like, what type of peace are you talking about?
Exactly.
What are you, like, who are you trying to defend yourself from? It makes no sense.
Definitely, yeah.
Because you're saying, when you say that you want peace, then you do not ruin a whole airport in Syria.
Exactly.
You do not ruin the borders in Egypt. The simplest thing, Muhammad, is if we want to go back in history as well. For years, we've heard about the Israelis and how they imprisoned a lot of Palestinians.
Yeah.
And as soon as the Palestinians leave the prison, they shoot them.
They shoot them.
After years and years of being kept in prison, as soon as they see the light of the sun, they're shot.
That's the last thing they saw.
And then they say, oh, but I want peace. At this point, you're just dancing with the devil, honestly.
Exactly. This is not being a human.
Yeah.
This is chaos. If that was the rule of being a human, I don't think any of this would have happened like the podcast right now.
Yeah.
If you're gonna call that, oh, this is like being a human being. This is not a being a human. No. As I said again.
I think that peace will forever be a subjective topic.
Definitely.
You know, especially when it comes to people like the Israelis talk about peace.
Yeah.
Sometimes peace is weaponized by the colonizers. And, you know, basically they say, how can I shut you up without looking like the bad guy? I'm murdering you, I'm ruining your land, I'm assaulting everyone, but at the same time, I want peace. So I go back to that topic of, do we really want peace or do we want liberation? And by we, I mean the Palestinians.
Well, for me, I want liberation.
When I talk about peace, it reminded me of the same African-American activist,
Yeah.
Kawami. He was talking about peace and liberation.
Yeah.
And he says, there's a difference between peace and liberation. You can have injustice and have peace. You can have peace and be enslaved.
Yes.
So peace isn't the answer. Liberation is the answer. He goes on to say, that's a white man's word, the word peace. Liberation is our word. You can't have peace until everybody's equal.
Definitely. Because if we said peace, we're going to live like under them.
Absolutely.
And we don't want that. We're going to be, as you said, like being slaves. No, we're not going to be that.
Yeah.
No, we're going to kick them out. You know, when we say 70 years, it's like it's a flick, you know, whatever it's like.
We're just saying a number, but to them,
we're just saying the number, exactly. And it's to them like it's been a decade.
Yeah.
Like, think about the older people right now, they're still alive. How can you say that they want peace after all of that? They probably lost their own children, their friends, their family, everything. They lost it, their homes. Maybe peace, we could have been thought about it and been through with it in the back of the day, even before 70 years.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe.
Maybe we could have negotiated better, talked about it better.
Exactly. Right now, you want to talk about it? No, there's no talk.
After murdering so many people.
It's either leave or anything else.
Yeah. You know, Mohammed also like reminds me of the same history of the African Americans, which is like, I want peace with the blacks, but you're going to be my slave.
Exactly.
Which makes no sense, right?
Exactly.
Because I'm the one who has my life ruined while you're just advocating peace.
Exactly. Or the Red Indians as well.
Yeah.
If you guys watch the new movie, it's a recent movie, Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro. It's called The Killer of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
And it talks about how the history was going on. And it's based on true story. It's a cycle. I feel like it will never be broken.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the issue there.
History repeats itself.
Exactly. History repeats itself. It will repeat itself.
Yeah. Okay, Mohammad.
Yeah.
I have another question that, since we're talking about peace and liberation and how it's not really the same and how people kind of can't really decide on what is peace and what is liberation.
Yeah.
What do you think of those people who come to you and say, hey, Mohammad, like, I'm not with them, but I'm not against them?
Okay. Someone who says that I'm not against them, but I'm not with them.
Yeah. Like, I'm not picking a side.
All right. Now, when you don't... Okay, I understand some people, they don't really want to get into politics because people are kind of a bit afraid of getting into it. But at the same time, I want you to sit down and ask yourself, do you think that's fair?
Do you think it's only about politics?
Not just politics. I feel like it's for the human rights as well, for the
Absolutely.
humanity,
Yeah.
you know? So I want to ask that person, like, listen, I'm not going to get into it a lot, but if someone like came into your house, he wanted help, and you helped him out, no problem at all, gave him food, gave them bed, and then you woke up the next day and you find yourself like kicked out of your own house,
Yeah.
killed your children, killed your wife, probably your family, stole your food, did a lot of things on your house, and they kicked you out, humiliated you. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's nice?
It's not about taking a side, it's about knowing the truth.
Knowing the truth.
So even if you, for example, are not into politics, I know that lots of people are not into politics because whoever gets into politics honestly can go mad, right?
Yeah.
So even if you're not into politics, even if you feel like, well, it's a conflict, to me, I would say, you know, it's not really a genocide, blah blah blah. I would just say educate yourself.
Definitely.
That's the simplest thing you can do.
Yes.
Educate yourself. Read books. Try to know the truth.
Exactly.
I mean, nowadays, Americans, nowadays, even in Europe, nowadays, even South Korea is defending Palestine,
Definitely, yeah.
right? The citizens. And it's so crazy because these people did not know the truth before this.
Definitely.
And
yeah.
now everyone is knowing the truth. I mean, I've seen comments of saying, I want to become a Muslim. I want to defend Palestine. I want to do this and I want to do that. So it's just,
Yeah.
for me, I'm always like, now because people are educating themselves,
So
they can actually know what's right and what's wrong.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, I'm really happy about that. And when you think about it, it's funny thing, like because my father studied abroad,
Yeah.
and when he told them like he's from Palestine, they asked him like, what is Palestine?
Yeah.
Like imagine
The
like,
media is not really helping the
Yeah.
Westerns and the Europeans as
exactly,
well.
yeah. But right now, right now, I feel like everybody knows everything. Like you
Yeah.
can educate yourself out of a social media, or of course, I don't really recommend social media. But what I'm saying is there are some certain topics in social media you need to see as well, so you
Absolutely.
can understand and learn from it. And yeah,
The Wi-Fi is being banned for a reason in Palestine,
Yeah.
right? The algorithm is not helping us to post about Palestine because now we
Yeah.
know the truth and the
Because they
people know the truth. And Muhammad, there's nothing scarier than the truth.
definitely.
If we think
definitely.
about it.
Yeah.
I mean, majority of the people, let's just say, if we want to hate on Islam, we hate on Islam. We're murdering Muslims. Throughout the years, we
Yes.
had this idea of how Islam is basically the religion of terrorism, right? But all of that happened because of the media and also because I would say the powerful
Yeah.
know the truth.
Yeah. Also, one more thing, guys. It's not a trend.
It's never a trend.
It's never a trend. You can start from today posting about Palestine.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, this doesn't mean you're gonna have more followers or less followers, because it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
What matters right now is that what you share, because this is what also influencers do.
Yeah.
And there are Arab influencers that they do as well. Like right now, social media has its own like blessing and its own curse.
Yeah.
But for once, its own blessing right now is revealing the truth behind what happens in Palestine.
You know, I remember our supervisor, Mr. Mohammad Farhan, told us how he had someone in the comments kind of talking about how the Israelis are the victims and the list goes on. And then Mr. Farhan actually DM'd them. He talked to this person and he educated them on the case of Palestine. And then the person said, oh, now I understand.
Yeah.
Now I understood the whole case.
Yeah.
Now I know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And this is what we need to do because lots of people are not really, they're not really comprehending
Yeah.
what's really happening.
Yeah.
And I go back to that point of being neutral. I really hate it when somebody comes up to me and says, well, I'm not with Palestine, but I'm not with the Israelis because both sides are being murdered.
Yeah.
To me, I would say, if we wash our hands of the conflict between the powerful and the powerless, we side with the powerful.
With the side of the powerful.
We don't
exactly.
remain neutral.
This is literally you're saying like I'm with them, with Israel.
Yes,
Yeah.
because there's no such thing as I'm not picking side.
Yeah.
If there's someone who is powerful in this story and you don't pick a side, you're immediately with the powerful.
Exactly. Also, one more thing, guys. Just please even though if you were also like, let's assume that you're mistaken of what happened, of your own thoughts, of your own knowledge about Palestine and Israel, don't feel ashamed
Yeah.
of being incorrect with your own information, because you are learning the truth and the right information from this. Please don't feel like, don't get your own ego of like, oh, I'm wrong, and no, don't get mad about
Yeah.
this. It's okay, because you are learning right now. You're understanding what happens. So it's definitely okay, guys.
Let's talk about how we can help them. Majority of us, we're not in Palestine, unfortunately. We can't go there. We can't fight on war.
Yes.
As people, especially, I would say as students and as even, families in Kuwait and in the Arab world and everywhere as well, all around the world. How can we help them?
Okay, I know you guys feel helpless and feel like you don't know what to do, and you want to help out in a way, and you feel like if you share stories, it doesn't do much. Well, sir, I would like to tell you, or ma'am, I want to tell you that you're actually doing a lot.
Yeah.
In just posting and sharing the stories of what happened in people in Palestine.
Yeah.
It's literally doing enough. And also boycotting.
Absolutely.
Boycotting the companies that happens. Listen, I understand. I love McDonald's too. I love Burger King, KFC. But when we all knew the truth and understand everything, we need to boycott them.
Absolutely.
This is literally the second week. And when the boycott, it started last week till this day. Do you know how much they actually lost, Yasmine?
Billions?
$12 billion.
Oh my God.
The rate was going down. They start even handing out for free for like less prices. So this is why, guys, you can help out with boycotting. I know some of you like Starbucks, but please, there's so many other cafes, guys. Yeah, guys, I know you all love Starbucks and everything, but there's so many other alternatives out there, okay? You have also, I don't know, make coffee at home, but
exactly.
but not Nescafe, of course, because Nescafe is one part of them. You can buy a fresh coffee. You can go to any other coffee place.
Support the local business as well.
Exactly, guys. It's literally anywhere. You can just see any other alternative. Yes, I understand. We used to love one of those. Maybe if any of this could have happened, it could have gone worse and worse. It's going down. You're actually doing much with boycotting.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Even so many people saying to you, don't stop. And one more thing, guys, please. When Palestine gets free, inshallah ya Rab, don't say, oh, I'm gonna go back to Starbucks. No.
Yeah.
Stay out of any of those companies.
Break up with the narcissist.
Exactly.
Don't go back to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So please just don't go back to them, because assuming inshallah after Palestine is free, what if they target another place?
Exactly. Yeah.
And if we go back to it, it's like we're doing the cycle again. So we need to break that cycle. It's like, you know how history repeats itself and it's unbreakable? We can break parts of it. Yeah. And one of those parts is actually boycotting till the end of our own lives. Don't stop. Listen, it's helping out. It's not just targeting Palestine, by the way. It's targeting Syria. It's targeting Lebanon. It's targeting the borders in Egypt.
Yeah.
Boycott, people, boycott. And also make sure you always share. There's always donations. And also make sure the source of donation, where does it go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Always help out. I know we're not soldiers. I know we're scared. I know we can't really admit that I don't want to fight. I'm with you on this one. But don't be afraid to share and post. Don't be afraid to boycott the other companies. Don't be afraid to share posts. No, share posts. Don't be afraid to boycott. No, boycott. Make sure you donate. Make sure you help out any other way you could possibly do it. Please just try to stay away, because you're drinking from the blood of your brother and your sisters.
Absolutely.
And the families in Palestine. And may Allah forbid that happens in either the countries surrounds it.
Yeah. Also, Muhammad, I feel like for the people who cannot boycott, I think that you need to kind of take a step back and think about how you became an addict.
Exactly.
To those things. Like I've heard lots of people go, but what about Starbucks? Like I can't live without Starbucks. Like my coffee is my life. And it's just like, to me, I just think about it and it's like, is your tummy more important than the people who are dying? Can't you just make your own coffee at home?
Exactly.
Can't you support the local business in your own country?
Exactly. I could literally name so many cafes.
Absolutely.
I can name a lot of things that we have here in Kuwait. Alhamdulillah, shukrullah. Of course,
Yeah.
thanks to the Kuwait here that provide us with alternatives.
Absolutely.
And you can just go from one place to you're a coffee addict. You know what? I agree with you. Go ahead, be a coffee addict, but please don't buy anything from Starbucks. If you're a university student, don't buy it from here also as well, or Subway as well.
Yeah.
Subway is also part of them. So
We need to check everything, even when it comes to like the
Exactly.
beauty products, the skincare products, and all of those things.
exactly,
We need to
yes.
like check and, make sure that we're buying the right things because, Muhammad,
Yeah.
you said that we can't fight, right? And
Yeah.
all we can do is, boycott and share on social media and so on. Us using our voice is the weapon. we're
And as
using.
our voice, exactly.
Yeah, like us basically being vocal about what's happening in Palestine is our weapon now.
Exactly.
I know that this is the least thing we can do, but at least we're doing something. We're not silent about it.
You know, there is a beautiful quote I heard in the series called The Boondocks.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some of you audience know The Boondocks, but the grandson was sitting down and he was really upset. And the grandfather gave him a hamburger and he said, "Thank you, Grandpa. Listen, Grandpa, I have a question for you. Like what do you do if you can't do anything?" Do you know what the grandfather said?
What?
You do what you can.
Yeah,
Because if this is the least you can do, then this is the best you can do.
absolutely.
You're actually helping out. So, but of course, feel for those people who are
Yeah.
dying out there. But feel also proud that you're actually helping out. Right now, this first post, you're actually saving a child.
Yeah.
The boycott that you did not pay for it, you're actually saving someone out there.
Even if you're not saving children and the Palestinians, at least you're educating others. And that in itself is, I would say, enough.
Yes.
Because as soon as we educate ourselves, as soon as this war will end. Also, Muhammad, I would talk about it from a religious point of view.
Yeah.
We kind of admire the level of faith the Palestinians have.
Definitely.
Whether they're kids, whether, I've seen pictures of girls, they're holding the Quran.
Yeah.
I've seen fathers, after seeing their whole families basically get murdered, they go and they pray and they're so religious. And that just shows you how beautiful Islam is and the level of faith that they have in God. So I know that majority of us as well, watching, social media and seeing all of the news, we feel bad and we feel sad, and that's absolutely normal, because you're a human being at the end of the
We're
day.
human being. We have feelings.
We gotta be happy that they're in a better place.
Yeah.
If you think about it, especially the Palestinians.
Yeah.
Because they were going through a test, and this test ended with them going back to Allah Azza wa Jal. There's no better place than being with God.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. We call them the shuhada, right?
Yeah.
So there's an interesting thing that Omar Sulaiman said. Why are those that are martyred called shuhada? It literally means witnesses, right? They witness the comfort, the generosity, the honor, and the promise of God at the first moment their souls leave their bodies.
That's beautiful.
And it's so beautiful because sometimes, honestly, I'm like, I wish I was there.
Yeah, me too.
Because it's literally the best ending a person can go through.
You know, there was old man in Palestine after the bomb happens. Someone was actually really crying and he was being helpless.
Yeah.
Every time I tell you about Palestine, I'm told like we're actually optimistic people.
Yeah.
Someone just came up to him. I think we all saw that video. He told him like, "Why are you crying? Like stop crying. It's okay. He's with Allah or she with Allah right now. We are witnesses right now. We are fighters. Here we are standing."
Absolutely.
Like this person probably lost a lot of people also. Lost people who's close to him. Lost his home. He is encouraging others. Like, no, stand up. Don't cry.
Speaking of religion, Allah Azza wa Jal says in chapter 3 in the Quran, Surah Al-Imran, I'm going to translate it as well. He says, وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ يُرْزَقُونَ فَرِحِينَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ وَيَسْتَبْشِرُونَ بِالَّذِينَ لَمْ يَلْحَقُوا بِهِمْ مِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ أَلَّا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Basically, it translates to, and never think of those who have been killed in the cause of Allah as dead. Rather, they are alive with their Lord, receiving provision, rejoicing in what Allah has bestowed upon them of His bounty, and they receive good tidings about those after them who have not yet joined them, that there will be no fear concerning them, nor will they grieve. And I feel like these two verses in the Quran kind of gives us hope.
Yeah.
to feel happy and to pray for those people. Honestly, other than boycotting, sharing, using your voice, and talking about it, educating people, I think the least thing we can do with ourselves is make dua.
This is the most important part, actually.
Yeah.
I also saw the other video another day about a person that says, no, it wasn't really the fund. It wasn't really anything. I mean, of course, fund. But I'm trying to say is it's because they believed. I'm not saying, oh, yalla, believe and just sit down and do nothing. No, believe and work.
Yeah.
It's not the others that helps us. It's Allah that helps them and helps us as well.
Absolutely. All the documentaries, all the articles, all the ways that you can help the Palestinians in the description down below. And I hope this podcast helped you to kind of understand more or try to kind of look at this war or genocide, I would say, from another point of view. I hope this educates some of you. And thank you, Mohammad, so much for talking about Palestine with me.
Of course.
I absolutely appreciate you as a Palestinian
Yeah.
to have you here and talk about it.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast today.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Please take care of yourself.
And please, guys, again, this is not a trend. This is spread the information of the Palestine, try to help out, do whatever you can. The least you can do is share. The least you can do is dua, and dua is the biggest thing as well.
Yes, you don't have to be a Muslim, you don't have to be Arab for you to care about Palestine. We need to use our voice and we need to talk about this forever
Definitely.
because it is not a trend. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.